Hi, and welcome to today's Daily Dose of Emuna. God is. He just is. And today we're going to talk about the idea of Emuna and just understand a little bit more about the process of what Emuna really is. So one of the things I'd like to clarify for all of us today is that Emuna is really an emotional reaction to what we intuitively, instinctively already know, but is hidden. Rav Kook Zatzal brings down that Emuna is self-evident. It's a self-internalized recognition, and it's something that the intellect and the emotions actually ride and accent. In other words, the intellect and the emotional avenues of the human being actually is here to bring out, express the Emuna that is already inherent inside of us. And what is this Emuna? Emuna is essentially the inherent, the innate, the inborn bond that every one of us has with God. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to be conscious of it. You just have to know it is. In other words, it doesn't require from us anything, just to know that we are all connected and infinitely bound to the divine. The issues are that we're swayed by so much of the materialism and physical reality that we live in. We're surrounded by scientific lab results and seeing is believing culture, that the way we perceive God is through the lenses of this world, through the physical eyes. And the physical world is not in sync with the way of the spiritual values. And so essentially our eyes are distorted, our eyes are damaged, and we're looking at it all wrong because we have different lenses on our eyes, because our whole experience, all of our interactions with life is all through the physical realms. Now, the difficulty at most rises when something happens, the struggles, the difficulties, the hardships hit our lives. And then, of course, the godly interaction and godly concepts are questioned, because our human definition of the way that we perceive God's presence in this world are so limited because our minds are limited. So we define and structure God's presence and intervention in this world in such a way that if our reality shows us different, something different than what we humanly define, it appears to us as though there's no God. But really, the challenge is not to deny God. The challenge is now we have to redefine the way we perceive God and God's functionality in this world. God's existence should not be limited to only the way that we can intellectually perceive or grasp His presence in our life. Essentially, we know there's a God. Emuna is alive in us when we see a flower blossom, when we take a look at the way a frog crickets, when we see a mother giving birth and holding her newborn child. There's something in us that understands that there's something greater and bigger. When you look at the functionality and the precision of the galaxies and the human body, there's no intellect there. There's just a knowing, which brings us back to the beginning, that Emuna is just knowing. And you don't have to believe that what you know is true. You just know. And so this is something to think about the next time that our intellect questions God's functionality, software program, and system, that we just need to understand that the limited mind cannot question what already is, because It simply is. I'm wishing everybody an Emuna-filled day.